Alzheimer's disease affects tens of millions of people worldwide, and that number is expected to rise as populations age. Right now, there are next to no effective treatments for the disease, but that could soon change. A promising new drug developed by Japanese pharma company Eisai and US biotech firm Biogen may get accelerated approval from US regulators as soon as today.
Alzheimer's disease was first diagnosed in a woman named Auguste Deterre over a century ago. It's the most common cause of dementia.
In general, it is expected that 2/3 of all cases are due to Alzheimer's disease.
But for a number of reasons, cures or even adequate treatments for Alzheimer's have proven stubbornly elusive.
It has been a taboo. People didn't talk about it. Second, underfunding. We have 15 to 20 times less funding for this disease area compared to cancer, although we have equal numbers, about 50, 55 million in the world. And third, it's very difficult. This is a brain disorder, and that's the most difficult organ of the body.
As Alzheimer's disease progresses, clumps of protein called amyloid form in the brain of the affected patient. Another protein called tau, which usually stabilizes neurons, instead begins to form tangles like those here in blue. That also plays a key role in degeneration.
There is a picture, a metaphor for that. So the amyloid pathology is the trigger of the gun, but finally the bullet that kills is certainly tau pathology.
Lecanemab, the new Alzheimer's treatment, slows the formation of plaques in the brain. It's an artificially produced antibody that works by binding to amyloid. The medication has broken new ground in the field.
This is a big success, and this is the first. This is the first trial with a proven result in a phase 3 clinical trial. I think the science is hard there. And so this is opening the door.
I would say it's a milestone. It's definitely a very important milestone because it's the first drug that is not acting symptomatically. It's clearly disease modifying in a certain sense that showed in a phase 3 trial positive outcome in all primary and secondary endpoints.
Lecanemab only slowed the loss of cognition. It didn't halt it completely. Still, it's a promising step towards potentially stopping or even curing this debilitating neurological condition.
Now, Bart Stroper is one of the world's leading Alzheimer researchers and director of the UK Dementia Research Institute. You saw him briefly in our report earlier. Bart, I understand the new medication is not the ultimate cure for Alzheimer's. So what can it do for patients and what can it not do?
Well, what the trial shows is that it slows the decay so that people remain longer at a certain stage of the disease, and overall, it's a mean. We need to be. It's a mean over the whole population, but overall, patients gain certainly a few months in becoming in their decay, basically.
What do we know about the risks that come with this new drug?
Yeah, there are quite some reports. So these antibodies, it's known that they can cause brain hemorrhages, and this is especially the case in patients with ApoE4, which is a gene. And then we see it also more happening apparently in people who take anticoagulantia. And so there have been 1 or 2 case reports of severe side effects there.
Now, according to the World Health Organization, dementia is a leading cause of death globally, yet only 1.5% of the global health research is focused on the disease. Why is this so underfunded?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm asking myself that already for decades. So I think it has partially to do with the taboo. It's a disease mainly of the elderly. It's something which many people don't like to talk about. And so there is a certain fatalism around this disorder, like, yeah, we can't do anything about it, this is happening, etc. And I think that has been why it's not in the mainstream and not fancy. But this is changing, I have the impression.
Now, the WHO also expects the number of people with dementia worldwide to almost triple and reach 140 million by 2050. Yes. Why is this disease so common?
Well, first of all, it has always been a common disease, but the main driver in this expansion is increasing life expectancy all over the world. So we get more and more people who come 70, 80, and that's the big group of people with Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So that's the main driver behind this.
But also this drug, it just puts the brake on the disease. It doesn't cure it. Do you think there will be a cure for Alzheimer's within our lifetimes?
Yeah. Well, I think it's of course, you need to test these drugs at the moment that the patients have already symptoms. So if you want to put the brake on, you better do it in the beginning of the disease. So what I expect is that this drug will gradually move more forward in the disease. So there is a 10, 15 years that people accumulate this amyloid in the brain without any symptom. And I think that's the moment that we need to use this drug. And so I guess that once this drug is approved, we will see experimentation into that direction. So I think there is a cure possible here. And then in the stage that the drug is tested now, there is also already the tau, which we heard about, and neuroinflammation. And so there is a lot of effort going on at the moment to also stop this neuroinflammation and to stop this tau pathology. And so the future for patients in the stage when they have symptoms will be a combination of therapies.
So there's hope. Bart de Stroper there with the UK Dementia Research Institute. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us.
Yes, you're welcome.